Today I'm going to be reacting to Dimash's performance of The Story of One Sky. Yerevan, Armenia is the concert location. Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done a reaction and analysis of Dimash. Excited to see what's happening here. Here we go. Okay, initial impression from the start, sounding classic Dimash, meaning starting relatively quiet, a little bit breathy, epic in terms of how he set this gorgeous film happening behind him. He's in this dramatic mood lighting downstage, a jacket and shirt that sets him apart from the video, but it also catches light and it's a little sparkly, which is great, pulls our attention straight to him. What do we expect? Well, we expect him to continue to take us on a ride. Let's see what happens. I'm a little busy with the video. Okay, kind of two cool things happening. Number one, you'll notice lights shifting. You can see his hair shift color a little bit there with the shift in music. If you're working with a lighting designer or you have that option, using lighting to help identify mood shifts and musical moments can be a really powerful way to make a performance really pop and to help the audience hear and see this shift all at the same time. It's can be magical. Second thing I want to point out is you'll notice his eyes. You can imagine when you're looking at him communicate that he is seeing everything out in front of him that he's talking about. He's picturing it. He's looking at it. Not only is he looking at it, he's choosing how he feels about it and letting us see it. So one way we can think about this and apply this to our own stuff is we need to see the things that we're talking about, and whatever we think this person would be imagining, we need to see them out in front of us. And then second, and most important, is to have a strong opinion about what we're seeing and looking at. Okay, so everything up to this point has been pretty quiet. If you took the microphone away, it'd be essentially a musical whisper for the most part, right? Is there something wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. He's telling a story. He's building up intention. Just like if we're telling a ghost story and we're whispering, there's kind of an intensity to that. The challenge of making this kind of whisper thing work is keeping the energy intensity behind it. A lot of people have this instinct, myself included, when we get quiet, we like to close down and be less and smaller, and it can't be. The quieter it is, the more emotionally intense it's got to get. And for the sake of clarity, he stays super intense and engaged through these quiet moments. That's what makes it work. So if you're listening to Dimash, it's easy to hear all these different vocal styles, techniques, colors coming through. I wonder, I don't think I've ever really thought of it this way before, but I wonder if I was to pull back and listen to it in terms of conversation. What I mean is, when I'm listening to him, these shifts in color feel pretty natural and comfortable and believable. But it really makes me think of almost like he's representing multiple voices back to back as he's going through this, as if he's singing a solo because it's one person, but really our ears hear it as a bunch of different people having a conversation all at once, and he's representing all of them, which is kind of a fascinating way to look at this. I wish I understood what he's saying better here. I'll have to check it out and see where that's at. I purposely don't in these videos at the start because I like to just see what a normal person that would pull this up on YouTube would see and react to it that way. But love it. So I'm kind of curious to go back and watch some of his other stuff with that in mind of how would I reinterpret this if I wasn't just listening to him and thinking he was trying to capture one person's voice, but many people's voice? Would that make sense of kind of the vocal changes? Or really, is he just letting the voice change based on emotion, based on the moment in the song, this kind of rise and fall that we like to have, this roller coaster that he's taking us on? I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting to analyze on those bases. So let's see what happens. Okay, leading into the drama, movement helps us feel like it's getting more intense. The emotions are building, and so he's so intense he's got to move. And then he finds a new level. He goes to the floor, which adds that intensity. Again, of all the singers I've watched, I don't think I've seen someone use the floor so strongly as he does. He uses this ground level in such a potent, powerful way. Why is it potent and powerful? Well, A, it's just a level, it gives interest and variety. B, it gets him closer to his audience, so they feel more connected with what's going on. And C, it's unique. It's just like, what's happening here? Which is really cool. It also shows a level of flexibility in his body, so that even he's singing this super intense song, he's staying flexible and can move and stay engaged. And that's a great thing to practice. If you're singing, say, how do I free up my voice? Move your body. It doesn't have to be believable. It doesn't have to make any sense. If you're just practicing, move and see what it does to your body and easing up some of that tension. If you find that as you're singing, there's a part of your body you can't move, it's stuck, then we got a problem. Let's keep going. Here is when I'm watching a performance, I'm looking for two things. And this actually came up. I had a student come in. She had sung an audition for me and wanted to know what she could do to do better. So when I was reviewing it, I said, look, when we're watching this, we want to feel like you're having a conversation. conversation with someone else, an imaginary person, doesn't matter, but that it has to feel like a conversation rather than a presentation. So when I'm looking here, there's a lot of body language and things that he's doing that reads as conversational, like he's having a really intense emotional conversation with someone, right? And you look at this, the whole body's engaged. There's nowhere that's super tight or tense most of the time. It's moving, it's constantly engaged and directly representing what he's talking about, not in an indicating way of like, ooh, my heart hurts, but conversationally. There are moments where he gets super presentational, and those are high drama moments, and he uses them to create contrast and variety and pull our attention right back into the moment. So he even uses those moments where he pulls out a conversational, goes presentational as a way to highlight and create drama in what he's doing and heighten the performance still. So there are performance styles that are highly presentational and other ones that are very conversational. But I would suggest for most of us, what we're looking for most on stage is it looking like someone's just having a conversation with someone else, and we get to watch in and listen in, or maybe that they're having a conversation with us in specific. Okay, so two things I want you to look for and see how it changes the sound is his jaw position. There are times when it tracks down and back, and you don't see these bottom teeth. It just goes really down and back. You're not seeing a lot of tension here in these muscles here. There's other times when it just goes straight down. You'll see some tension in here. You'll see where these both teeth pop out. Just listen for the difference in sound quality. It's not necessarily in this case a better and best. He's using them to get very specific sounds. So listen for that. In general, yeah, if we're working with you and you come in for a voice lesson, we're going to work really hard to get rid of this jaw tension, have you not do a lot of that in there, because it is so hard to get rid of those tension points. But you'll realize here, he can turn it on and off a little bit. And so the thing I want you to walk away with is the jaw position, where that tongue is in the mouth. Is it pulling back? Is it forward? How wide the mouth is in front, how much teeth we're seeing. All these things can heavily influence the timbre of the sound. So rather than trying to judge and be like, good, bad, think, hey, what's the sound I want? And how do I arrange this instrument, my voice, to get that sound? Rather than thinking it's some magical, mystical thing, think just as if it's any other instrument that you had to find the right shape to get the specific sound. Love it. You'll see here, he's on the ground and his posture is giving us so much information about the character at this moment, what he's feeling, what he's trying to communicate. And you'll notice he'll gently pull out of it and line up his posture to get a really lovely, easy sound. And then when he wasn't singing, he went back into that posture. Cool. He's finding this really unique and cool balance of being able to be really genuine, authentic with his body position and posture, while still giving respect to the voice and needing to line things up well enough so that that voice and that instrument can work efficiently. Kind of cool. That's not a sound I've heard from him, I don't think. Kind of cool. He's getting a little bit of that almost heavy metal like growl, right? Type of thing going on in there. Super cool. Especially in just straight contrast to that higher stuff that he's doing before. Really kind of cool. Again, I just finished a semester here, and one of the things I do at the university I teach at here is I teach an Intro to Fine Arts class, which is super fun because we get to talk about all of the art history of the entire world in a semester. Kind of impossible, but cool. Really cool to think how sophisticated what he's doing is in terms of art history and what's happening. Early 1900s moving forward to about present day, kind of one of the final frontiers has been regional folk music and how we integrate that into classical music, or in this case, pop music, or maybe better in this case, all of it music. He's kind of blends everything together in classic Dimash style. So, kind of really important. I know he has his strong national heritage, which is awesome, but he also is really leaning in how to blend and connect that with other cultures and styles and traditions as well, which I think is awesome. One of the things that I hope art does and that we're searching for and trying to promote in the art is music and art that brings people together, not ones that push people apart. And I think he does an awesome job with that. Let's keep going. Okay, I got to pause for a second. He wasn't singing at all. In fact, there's kind of this silent, still moment, right? What makes it work and not feel like a mistake is that he continues to move through it. We see his eyes, his thoughts. He's still engaged in this character and moment. He doesn't have a freeze moment or a waiting moment until like, is it my turn to sing yet? He's staying engaged 100% of the time. So that sound is perceived by us as always emanating from him and representing the emotions of who he's trying to represent in this moment when he's singing. So love it. We're finding a new part of the audience to talk to and engage with. You're sitting over there. Let's go find someone new. Let's get this entire audience engaged. Great show. Difference in mouth shape between when it's a little more poppy, screamy versus kind of classical opera-y, the shape in the mouth change and what that's doing to the quality of the sound. Cool. Use it.
Who decided to stop this training? Ladies and gentlemen, because we choose life.
Okay, super fun finish. Final thing that's worth noticing here is when he's talking in a range that's similar to where he was singing. There's nothing more disorienting than someone singing up high and then all of a sudden having them start talking way down here, or vice versa, where they're singing really beefy and then they start talking up here. It just was really disorienting and disengaging from an audience perspective. It's also helpful for him to be able to stay in a part of his voice that is probably easier and more comfortable, where he's not pushing, he's just staying light and comfortable. So lots to learn here from Dimash. As always, love what he does, love what we're watching. So much to take away from his intensity, his ability to communicate emotions and stories and stay engaged in these characters in such a vivid, intense way all the way through. So I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Please don't hesitate to comment. Please like and subscribe down below here. Also, if you want a voice lesson, you want an executive coaching, or you want some help with your acting, you can find me at foundyourvoice.com, where you can book a lesson and a time with me. And if you have any other questions or want to talk, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. See you next time.